Hello, Jan back again with part 2 of our little tiny mini album, and we'll just pick up where we left off. So in the interim I have adhered the two inside front and inside back papers, and these were the same measurements as the front cover and the back cover, because on the cut list it says cut 4, so 2 were for the outside and 2 were for the inside. So I thought I'd cut down on time a bit by having them stuck down already. You don't need to see me do those. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to work on are your pieces of patterned paper that you have cut to 4 5/8 by 3 1/4, which is 11.7 by 8.3, and these are what I'm going to call our anchor pages, and that means that they fit here. They're the first page, front and back, both sides exactly the same, front and back. And because there's not a huge amount of room for the embellishments, let's move these out of the way. There's not a huge amount of room for the embellishments because of the waterfall that's going to go here. These are just plain pages, so we can get those stuck down and sorted out. So we don't need to do anything else apart from just to stick them down. Again, I'm going to give it a try to you know, sort of fast forward through this. As I say, I'm not that technical. There's going to be a lot of barking in a minute because someone's just about to knock on my door. So sorry about that. Right, he's left me a parcel. That's brilliant. So sorry about that. It's my little darling little doggies. Right, okay, so yeah, dreadfully sorry about this, about the you know, time it's going to take to do this, but here we go. So we're just going to stick these down. I'm hoping the light won't fade too much this afternoon. I'm trying to film, I mean, I did start to film earlier yesterday, it's just that I filmed it with no sound, so I had to redo it. Right, okay, so we're going to take our first piece, and front or back, whichever you want to work on first, it's this first part here, and you're going to line this up very carefully between your score lines here and here. Make sure that you don't go over this score line, or either of the score lines actually. And make sure that you get it nicely lined up. Just seem to be struggling with right at the moment. There we go, so that you've got a little border all the way round. There we go. And as I say, make sure that you don't go over this score line here, which I kind of have. So let me turn this sideways. The difficulties of trying to video at arm's length. Okay, so there's my little border, there's my little border. Make sure it's level, level, level. There we go, and just keep clear of both of the score lines. And give that a good burnish to get it to stick down really well. This is such a lovely paper line. I'm loving this. I don't even know the paper company, but I've got it as a digital download, so I'm quite happy to sort of download it for you to make this album from. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as I can. Should have, in hindsight, I probably should have stuck these two down as well. So that's that side of it, and we're going to turn it over, and we're doing this side of the same piece. My border's quite small on here, so you just have to be really careful. Now, as I say, make sure that you don't go over these score lines. So that's that side done. it's almost a shame to cover it up with waterfall paper, but there we go. So now I'm going to do the same thing on here, and I'm going to use, is it this one or is it this one? It's this one. Right, okay. It's just the way I cut it. You can have whatever papers you want. You can have a different colour on every page if you want to. Might be quite interesting. Rainbow book. Be lovely. But yeah, so I've saved the best kind of the most decent sort of patterned papers for these pages that are plain. Oh, we're not going to stick a waterfall over it, are we? That's the whole point. Oh, duh. What am I thinking of? The whole point is keeping these plain. So that's why I've used the best patterned paper, and turn it over, and we're going to put this one on this side. So what we do on one side of the album, we're going to do exactly the same on the other side, but obviously mirrored. It's a very simple little album to make up. It does take a little bit of time if you want to do it really carefully, but you know, I just think it's worth it, and it fits perfectly. It was actually, I made it actually to fit in that little gift box, so I know it fits perfectly in there. But on its own, it's quite a nice little album actually. If you don't want to give it away as a gift and want to keep it for yourself, why not? Let me turn this sideways again so I can get a better view of it. It's quite difficult to do it otherwise. I'm going to line that up there, line it up there. Worth taking a few minutes to do. There we go. I think this is probably about my 10th time I've made this, but only the first time I videoed it. Right, okay, so let's push that aside for the moment while we concentrate on our pocket pages. And the pocket pages are going to be, let's do the centre ones first. Hold on a moment. Where are my centre pages? There they are. Oh, this is the outer page. Right, diagonal, base pocket, base pocket. Okay, so we'll do the outer pages, and we'll do these pockets first. Now you should have 2 of these pieces of card, which were cut to 3 5/8 by 2 1/4, which is 9.2 by 5.7. And you're also going to need your 2 pieces of design paper, which were cut to 3 by 2, which is 7.7 by 5 centimetres. So, and you're going to need your, what I'm calling the outer pages, and these are the 4 pieces of paper that were cut to 4 5/8 by 3, which is 11.7 by 7.7 centimetres. Okay, so you're going to need those, you're going to need these, and we're going to work on these pockets. Now, as you can see, I have, this is what you had originally, 3 5/8 by 2 1/4, and you need to score it at 1/4 inch all the way round. And 1/4 inch, I don't know, let me have a little look. Let me see what it is, centimetres. It is 0.6 centimetres. So on one long side and both short sides, but you don't need to do the top, okay? Then you're going to, and much as we did before when we wrapped the cover, we're going to cut these these corners diagonally off. So where your score lines cross here and here at the bottom, we're going to cut that off diagonally, and we're just going to discard these, we don't need them. So that's on both pieces, okay? Both pieces, that's that one and that one. And then we're going to just fold along the score lines. That's there along there and along here, which doesn't want to go at the moment. Go on, go, there we go, persuade it. And lightly go over it with your score tool so that you get quite a nice crease on those. If you do it too firmly, you kind of might split the paper, so just be really careful. Okay, there and there, and the same with this one. And these are what I'm referring to as the lower pockets. And put that there and there and there and there. So the way we attach these is we're going to take 2 of these pieces. You have 4 of them, so we're going to take 2 of them. 1, 2, these 2. Put the other 2 aside for the moment. And before we stick this into the album, we're going to wrap this pocket around it so that it goes like this and like this. That way you don't see the, you know, the workings of it when it's actually in the album. It's just a neater finish. So basically, once you've folded it, got your fold, you put your piece of backing paper in, and you just wrap it around and make sure that it's a good sort of tight fit. Hold it down when it's in place and glue it down. So I usually start with the bottom first to anchor it. Obviously, again, you can use 1/4" tape if you want to, but just make sure you glue it firmly, make sure you stick it firmly. Give it a moment to just bond. Do the other sides. That's that one. And this one. Doesn't need too much glue on it, just a squidge. So that's the first one with the pocket attached. And exactly the same for the second one. Fold that up. There we go. And this one. Fold this over. I understand from some of the feedback so far that people are having real trouble finding my tutorials on YouTube. I've posted the link at the top of the group page. And the reason for that is that I don't have enough subscribers yet for YouTube to actually take any notice of me. Excuse me while I have a quick drink. And you could really help me out with that by, you know, liking and subscribing if you do like my videos. Okay, so now we're just going to cover those with the pieces of design paper that we have cut out. Ready? Again, they're not going to take any weight or anything, so they just need a bit of a squidge of glue. They line up really nicely, leaving you a little white border all the way round. And just burnish it down. Okay, and the same with the other one. You'll see in the other album, in the pink album, that I used my ink, my distress ink and a dauber to go around all of these edges, just because it looked nicer in that album, in that one. It doesn't seem to matter much in this one because this is such a strong colourway. So I'm leaving this one plain. But if I just show you in this pink album, go back to this a moment, you can see that everything, let's see if I can find the lower pockets. Oh, here they are. These are the lower pockets with the tags in. So I've gone round them with some Tim Holtz Distress ink. That this is black obviously, but the one that matches the colour of the album. I think I used for this one Victorian Velvet, which is a lovely colour actually. Right, okay, so these are your two lower pockets and we need to stick them in. So if you take your album that we've just worked on, make sure that your folds, your big folds, are in the middle like that. That's the way it folds up. And these pieces of cardstock are going to be stuck to the inside. So you're going to take the first one here. We'll take the right hand side to start with. Oh no, we'll take the left hand side, that's fine. And it's this first bit here. So when you open it out, you have your base paper, then you have a middle, and then you have this pocket. Okay, so this is where we're going to stick this. So just make sure it lines up. It's worthwhile, let's push that out of the way. It's worthwhile while it's dry and while you're not under pressure to stick it before it sets. Just have a look at it, line it up and see how it's going to go and where it's going to go. The most important thing is that you do not cover this score line here. Okay, you can go right up to it, but you can't cover it. So we're going to add our glue around the outside. A bit all over, and very carefully we're going to line this up, making sure that we can go right up to the score line and right up to the outside edge, but we can't go over it, and just leave your tiny white border top and bottom. Take it off and reposition it. Sometimes I have to reposition it a few times. I can't quite see what I'm doing, which unfortunately on this album at the moment I can't, because I don't want to get my head in the video. But there we go. So we have a gap. I mean, it's not a very big gap, but we do have a gap. And basically we haven't gone over the score line. Okay, and that, as I say, is the most important thing. Right, now then, we're going to do the same obviously for the other page. Let's just double check that that is the right way up. Yes, it is. I've been known to do that as well. Now, also at this point, I mean, I was going to do it on the other side and I forgot, but this is where you're going to need some tabs. So if you have some circles cut out, let me show you. On this one here, we put these are to help you pull the page out. Okay, so we stick those in now. I hope I'm making sense here. I sound like I'm rambling a bit, but anyway, so I'm going to do it on this side, although I didn't do it on the other side. So instead of cutting circles, I've just simply used one of my a die for this one. And I've used this shape, which is just a tiny tag shape, and I've cut it in half, cut them in half. And I've made 20 of them, which I've cut in half. I'm not sure how many we're going to need yet at the moment, but you know, I thought I'd be better safe than sorry. So basically, either your circle, or if you've got a little tiny tab like this, you're just going to use it to put on the edge of this outside flap here, So roughly find the middle, kind of line it up the best you can underneath. Mine's going to go about here, like that. Stick it down and stick the top one to it, you know, the second half to it. Now, as I say, I should have done this under the other one, but you know, I forgot. So before you stick your pocket page down, make sure you do this. Later on I'll kind of add it to that. So you have a tab on the outside edge of your page now. Okay, now you can stick your pocket page onto it, which will go here like this. There we go, lined up, and you have this little tab that sticks out. Okay, so let's get that quickly done. So now I'm going to bring these over as far as I can. Make sure it's got a little gap at the top, my little white edge at the top. There's not much of a white edge, I must admit, but it's just a little bit, you know. The main thing is, like I said before, is don't go over this fold line here, which I have done here. So I'm just going to move that over across a bit. Keep going. There we go. Right. And obviously I'm going to borrow a tag from the other one, from the other album, but this is where your tags are going to go, in here. Okay, there's a nice little fit. Right, okay, so that's that part. Now we're going to do the centerpiece here on this same side, and this is for your side pockets. So keep these, but just put them together with your album and move them out of the way a moment. And let's look for our long pieces, these pieces here, which are our side pockets. And these measure 5 1/8 by 1 3/4, which is 13.1 by 4.5, and you should have 2 of those. And as you can see, I've done exactly the same as I did with the bottom pockets, only I've done them, only they're long and narrow because they're going to go down the side of the page. So to save some time, you score a 1/4 inch on 3 sides, the 2 short sides, the long sides, and fold them under like that. Make sure that you've used your band folder. Right, now for your middle pages, keep these out of the way. You have 2 pieces that are cut, 4 pieces, if I can locate what I've done with them, that are cut to, excuse me a moment, these are your outer pages. These, oh, would you believe, I don't know what I've done with them. Good grief. How bizarre. Oh, no, that's the middle page. Oh yes, middle pages. Right, okay, so you should have 4 pieces that are cut to 4 5/8 by 3 1/8. And these are your middle pages. So you just need 2 of them for the moment, and the other 2 you're going to put aside. And for these, for the pocket along the, let's close the album up again so that you can see what I'm talking about. So for the left side here, the pocket is going to go down this edge here, which is the right hand edge of the actual paper. Okay, so let's work on that one first. So you need 2 of these pieces, as I've said, 1, And again, you're going to fit this pocket around the long edge of the sheet of paper before we stick it down, exactly as we did with the bottom, with the base pocket, and it's going around the long edge instead of being a side pocket. Okay, right, let's get on with that. Push that out of the way for the moment. And this one is going to go this way round. What's going on there? So let me pop that into there, line it up, wrap it around. It should be quite a good tight fit. You may have to just slightly adjust it, maybe, you know, sort of a tiny bit out, as I'm doing here with mine. It's because of the score lines, it's the space that an actual score line takes up. So again, we're just going to glue down the bottom. I think it's getting dark again, isn't it? Shadows. And you hold it down as before, press up and out to get it to bond. And we're going to do the two sides, and then I'm just going to put my lamp on, my extra lamp, to see if that will help at all. There and there. So that's the first one. The pocket goes this side, and the second one, the pocket goes the other side, obviously, so you've got a matching pair. Just exactly the same. Turn it round for ease. Add some glue. Make sure it makes a good bond. And the same with the outside edges. 1 and 2. Okie dokie. Right, let's just go over that with a bone folder a moment to make sure it bonds properly. There we go. Right, okay, let's bring back the album. Move that out of the way, bring back the album. And taking your left side pages, this is the centre here, left side, which opens this way. We are going to put this so that it's on the right side of the page, which is going to be here. Okay, so again, you know, just kind of play around with it first while it's dry to make sure you know exactly how it's going to go and where it's going to go before sticking it down. Glue right round the edge. This is the one on the other album where I fussy cut some flowers that just were the right length to go on this. I need my tweezers, can't function without tweezers. Right, okay, so we're going to line that up with that score line there as best we can without actually going over it, and push that down there. There we go. That gives us our little border all round. Give it a little push down, and you know, don't be afraid to put your bone folder inside and or score tool inside and give it a push down from inside the pocket as well. There we go. Perfect. And obviously we're going to do the same, so now we can fold that up, put that out of the way, and this one here is going to be exactly the same. So you turn it, don't forget it's on this side, open it up, and this time the pocket is going to go on the other side, which is here, which is forgotten myself now. Pocket on the is going to go this way round. Okay. So some glue. I'm hoping you are actually able to still see this despite the lighting. I'm just going to put my additional lamp on in a minute and see if that helps at all. Right, okay, let's get this lined up. Right up there and there, so it doesn't cross that score line. Start again. I'm kind of in my own shadow really, it's hard to see. There and there. There and there. Okie doke. Right, okay, so we're going to just stick the covers on here and that will give us our side pockets. Let's quickly do this. And I'll just quickly show you what I did with the pink one while I've got it to hand. Make sure we've got our little borders. There we go. And close this up and do this one. I don't know how everybody else is getting on at the moment, but where I live here, we seem to have had fireworks pretty much every day and every evening since Christmas Day, and Christmas Eve actually, and I think my poor dogs have just about had enough of it. And that's the reason I'm mentioning it is because you might be able to hear some popping in the background, and that's somebody letting off some fireworks again now. Right, okay, so that's our side pockets. And our tags will fit in here like this. Okay? Right, so I'll just show you quickly the how I did it on this album, the pink album, because if you've got a nice paper like this one, I was able to fussy cut it and stick it onto, so the actual base pocket is still on there, but I covered it with a fussy cut piece that, you know, it doesn't matter if it overhangs, it just makes a nice edge. Okay, right, let's see how we get on with this lamp. Don't know if that's any better, I hope it is. Right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to do these other pages, and we want to do the corner pockets. So at the moment you have this full and this inside here full, and now we're going to do the corner pockets and the corner pockets. Okay, so it's much the same principle. Now this is where, the only thing is, this is where people may get themselves sort of in a bit of a state with this. I did do this on a card not that long ago and people found it really difficult, so I'll just show you what happens. You need 2 pieces of card, our cardstock first of all, that are cut to 4 by 3, which is 10.2 by 7.7 centimetres. Okay, and then you're going to cut them diagonally from one corner to the other. But first of all, you need to score all the way round it at 1/4 of an inch. So on every side, 1/4 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so once you've done that, you can then cut it cut across it diagonally. It's pretty easy to do with plain paper, but when you come to patterned paper it seems to prove more difficult. So it doesn't matter how you cut it with plain paper, plain card, but when you come to your patterned card, so you line this up. If you've got one of these cutters, these trimmers, you line it up so that your one corner is there and one corner here, and then you can carefully cut across it. And that gives you your two triangles, there and there, and you can do exactly the same for the other. So line it up, corner and corner, like that, like that. Make sure it is correct and score down it. Now when you come to doing your papers, you're going to need to cut two pairs, and the way that you do this, try not to use a directional paper, by the way. So I'm going to put together, says she who's just used a directional paper. Right, okay, so let me look which two kind of went together. That pair did. So you're going to have, here's one of your rectangles, and you're going to cut it on your patterned paper from top right diagonally down to bottom left. But on the other one, you're going to do the opposite. So you cut top left to bottom right. And it's just about how you put your paper in your trimmer. So on this one I lined it up this way, and on this one I lined it up that way. Okay, I hope you can see that. And that's how to get those corners. And when you come to stick it in, you can't turn this one around, because otherwise you end up like that. So you have to swap them like this, so that you have a pair on each side, and you'll see when I come to stick it down. Right, so you take your triangles, and we're going to put these over our base pieces of paper the same way as we did before. So these, you can take your center pieces, which are the ones that measure, these are your outer edges. Right, so you're going to need your outer edges, your outer pages, which measure 4 5/8 by 3, which is 11.7 by 7.7, and you're going to need your centre pages, which are 4 5/8 by 3 1/8, 11.7 by 7.9. Okay, so let's take one pair at a time. So this is my centre, which is going to go here, and this is my outer page, which is going to go here. Okay, and I'm going to get my pockets to go one here, this way round, and one here. And this is why I'm saying it doesn't matter if you're going to use when you use your base cardstock, but the other one's going to go there. It just does matter when you come to use your design paper. So when you come to put your design paper on, you're going to have one that goes here and one that goes here. Okay, and then you'll have the opposite on the other side. Right, so let's go through carefully how we do this. The first thing you need to do, put all of this stuff out of the way, is concentrate on your pockets, on the actual pockets. She says, not being able to find one of them. There it is. Right, so for two of them, these two, you're going to fold, you're going to cut across this corner here, cut this off, same way we did before, so don't need that. That's in the way. Now you're also going to cut, if you look at this carefully, you'll find that you have a score line here where this point is. That's the bit that we've just cut off, and you need to cut that off. We don't want that either. And you'll find the same at the top, and we're going to cut that off, so we don't need that either. So now you end up with that shape, okay? And on the other corner, the one that matches it, we're going to do exactly the same. So we're going to cut across this corner, get rid of it. We're going to find the score line at the top and cut that off. And we're going to find the score line at the bottom and cut that off as well. There we go. We're going to do that on all of them, but let's just do 2 first so we don't confuse ourselves. Now you're going to have one where the score line is the right way and one where the score line is the wrong way. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter on this. So you're going to fold your score line, fold under along your two score lines. One there and one there. And you're going to give that a burnish with your score tool there, and open that out for a moment and do this one. Hope I'm in frame. I also hope it's filming. Yeah, it is, that's good. And this one, obviously you're going to do it this way, so you have a pair this way and this way. Give them a bit of a burnish there and there. And just like we did with the other pockets, only we're going to do these on the corners, you're going to stick these onto the page first. So you're going to take the smaller, the larger of the 2 pieces of paper you've got left, which is the 4 5/8 by 3 1/8, and you're going to put your pocket in with the longest side of the pocket up the side of the paper and the shortest side going across like that, and we just simply wrap it and stick it in exactly the same way that we did before. So that's here and here. Wrap and stick, wrap and stick. There we go. And we're going to put that there to remind us that that's gone on the left hand side, because this outer edge piece, which is the smaller one, the one that's by 3 inches, we're going to do it on the other side so that we have a matching pair like that. Wrap and stick. Wrap and stick. Mainly, the main thing really is just to make sure that you have this well jammed into the corner so that it's a good tight fit on the corner. Okay. Right, so before we stick them in, now that we've mastered that, we're going to do the same thing with the other ones, with the other 2. So don't forget, we have these 2 pieces here. Whoops, dropped it on the floor. It's very clever. Make sure you have them as a pair. Cut across the corner. Snip these pieces off here and here. And this one. Snip these pieces off here and here. Fold them as we did previously. There and there. Let's get rid of some of these little scrappy bits. We don't need these. These are for the bin. And this one here. So don't forget, the longest side of the triangle goes up the side of the paper. The shortest side goes across the bottom. There we go, and you have 2 more pieces of paper here and here, and you have the small side, which is going to be for this piece. Wrap tightly and stick. Wrap tightly there and there. Now we have two like that, and we will have two like this. Sorry about the shadows again, guys. It's just not many hours of daylight to do things at the moment. Right, so now we're going to stick these into our book, into our album. So on your pages, I mean, you can orientate them. You can have the two backs together if you prefer that. Oh no, you can't because of the sizes. So you need the two like that on this sheet. I mean, before you stick them down, you could actually have them back to back as opposed to facing each other. It's exactly, you know, depends on what you want to do. Right, let's get this stuck down here. Here. Obviously don't go over the fold line. Try to keep a nice little border at the top. Just try to keep it even as you can, really. Which again, mine isn't. There we go. I hope I'm in shot still. Just steer well clear of that fold line, that score line, and stick your piece down. Okay, that's that one. It folds up like that. Well, it doesn't, it folds that way actually. Yeah, that's that one, and now we're just going to do this one as well. So this one is that piece and that piece. There we go. I thought I'd done them on the wrong side for a moment, but I haven't, thank goodness. And this is the one I remember to stick the tab down. I will go on to the other side and just stick the tab onto that. Okay, it's one piece. Clean off these scissors, these tweezers, and we'll get the other piece done. When we come to do the waterfall bit, which is in a moment, I'll show you one waterfall but I won't put you through the agonies of watching both waterfalls. I'll just show you that at the end. So this goes on here, lined up. Like that. Oops, still straight. What am I doing? That's the other thing I think with wet glue as well, if you're using it, is that you can, if you've made a mistake, you've got a certain amount of time that you can take it off and reposition it. There we go, that's better. Okay, so we have this now. So the part that we need now, the pieces we need now, are the spine covers. And that's these pieces. And you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that measure. One of them's got the measurements on it, I think. Nope, but they are 4 3/4. Let me just double check. Spine covers. Page spine covers are 4 5/8 by 1/4, which is 11.7 by 0.6 centimeters, and you should have 4 of these. And you should also have 2 pieces which are to cover these thicker bits here, and they are I can't find the size for them, goodness me. Spine covers, anchor page covers are 4 3/4 by 3 1/8. Right, so let's do these narrow ones first, these thin ones, and these are going to go down here. So you're going to want one here, no, we do the 2 thicker ones first, because you're going to need these here, 2 here, 1 here, like that, and it looks like it needs a slight trim off by about 1/8 of an inch. Just my measuring was out, I'm afraid. And that's going to go here. I do beg your pardon, I'm kind of getting in a bit of a state here, aren't I? So that's going to go here. So this is the cover. This is where the pages are stuck on, and this is going to go down here, just to cover that slightly slightly unsightly seam that you can see there. I wonder if I should rehearse this. What do you think, guys? So just don't take it over the where the page closes, but it's just to tidy this side up. Line it up at the top and stick it down. And we're going to open the book up, and we're going to do the same the other end. Just make sure it fits, which it does. It's fine. I hope before the light kind of went that you were able to see the colour of this, because it's so attractive. It's a beautiful teal colour. fits between the score lines all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, like that. And that just finishes that off nicely. Right, we'll come back to those and we will do our waterfall. That folds that way and that folds that way. So a waterfall is going to go on here. Oh, sorry. Running before I can walk. First of all, we need to do these, the covers for the corner pockets. So let's open this out. And you just locate your, you know, your corners. Now I said, didn't I, that, hang on, which one is the pair to which? Right, that's the pair to that one. And that's the pair to that one. So we're going to need this one to go on here. I hope I'm not making this too kind of confusing or too awkward for you to follow. I think once you've got your papers cut out, you'll see how they fit together and, you know, it won't seem so confusing. Basically, number one, don't do as I do as I say, and don't use a patterned paper. Use a non-directional paper so that it, you know, it really doesn't matter. But in any case, still cut it and do it the way that I've said and I tried to show you. So that you cut one top left to bottom right and one top left, one top right to bottom left. Right, okay, so that's our pockets on here. Flip it over until we find our other pockets, which will be on this side, and stick these down. That's this one and that's this one. There we go, still got a little white border, and this one here. Oops, I need to glue it out here, don't I, so you can see what I'm doing. Although I imagine by now you know how to glue. Oh dear. Probably don't need to see me do it. Come on, don't play about. There we go, that's better. That gives us out very fine white border, but it's fine, it's okay. Right, okie doke. So now we need to work on our waterfall. That folds up into the middle, so we have our two centre pages like this. Okay, so our waterfalls. Alright, let's put the top back on the glue. So you needed to cut 6 pieces. Let's move this out of the way for the moment. Manipulate it a bit. You needed to cut 6 pieces that were there. That's where they are. 6 pieces of cardstock, which are 3 by 3.5, which is 7.7 by 9 centimetres, and across this edge, the top edge here, which is your shorter side, as far as I can work it out. Let's have a look. This is your 3.5 inch side. So this is the part 3.5 inch, and this is 3. You score at 1/2 inch on all of them, and that's the only score line you need to do. And then you need to fold them under, and you need to do that on all of them. One, 2, 3. I hope I'm not boring you yet. Oh dear me. It's hard to get a balance, I think, of what I should do in advance and what I should do where you can see it. So I'm kind of learning still. Hopefully this isn't too boring for you. Right, so we need 3 for the front cover and obviously 3 for the back cover as well. These are your final large pieces of paper. You should have 6 of these, and they will be cut to, I wonder if I've written it on them. No, they will be cut to, refer to my little handy dandy. They will be cut to 3 3/8 by 2 3/8, which is 8.6 by 6 centimetres. And as I say, you have 6 of them. You also have your 6 waterfall spine cover pieces, and they are waterfall spine, which are 3 3/8 by 3/8 of an inch, which is 8.6 by 0.9 centimetres, and you need 6 of those too as well. Let's just put all of those out of the way for the moment while we concentrate on our waterfall. Right, okay, so looking at our cover, I've got this is the front cover. I'm turning it sideways for ease, and we're going to fit these one after another down this page. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do, now I'm going to get you to measure this out. It's really the best way to do it. Right, okay, so we're going to measure from the top, the actual top of the album. We're going to measure down 3/4 of an inch on each side and put a little mark. And I'll tell you what 3/4 of an inch is in a moment in centimetres. So 3/4 of an inch and put a mark. 3/4 of an inch and again put a mark, and we're going to join that up across there. That tells us where our first waterfall flap is going to stick. Okay, now in centimetres that is exactly 2 centimetres. Okay, so let's do a dry run first. This is the actual waterfall is almost as wide as the paper is, almost. So you have a tiny gap either side, which will be really helpful to us because that's how we're going to gauge where to stick it. So you take your first waterfall page, your flap is folded under. I usually do this with tape, but I'm going to do it with glue today, simply because I've got the glue handy and it's a bit quicker. And you're going to apply your tape or your glue here, and you're going to very carefully line up this piece with the line that you've just drawn, making sure that you've got the same small gap either side. It's all about getting the first one level. If you can get the first one level, and you'll be fine. Okay, and you press that down. Open it up and work it onto the page. Now from here on in, you're going to follow this guideline instead of a pencil line. So for your second one, we're going to do exactly the same. Exactly the same. Apply your glue or tape as you wish. And we're going to use this as being the pencil line. So you're going to put this tightly up to here on both sides without going over it, and trying to make sure that you keep your little gap at the side. Now before you really stick it down, fold the other one over so that you make sure that they're both in the straight line. Okay, and then you can give it a press. There we go. And we're going to do exactly the same thing for the third one. We're going to do that on both sides. So take the last one. We're going to line it up straight and tight as you can, but leaving your borders either side. Try to get it lined up there. Before you press it down properly, make sure it lines up with the page above, and then give it a good press. And go over it, burnish over it with your bend folder. There we go. Now all that needs to be done is, oops, sorry, goodness, I knocked the camera. All I need to do now is to apply these pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So I'm going to make a decision about where I want my pages, which is going to be, see, this is lovely. Look at this. This is the part of a frame and a lovely little china teacup and teapot. Don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. It's very pretty. And this one here has a little ticket tucked in behind the flowers. And then this one is just more of the flowers. It's very pretty, actually. Right, so I'm going to have my little teapot. I think I might have my teapot on the front. Yep. Right, so first of all, I need 2 more of my little tags, or one tag that I've cut in half. Let's see, I remembered to do it this time. And the first one, let's take this off. The first one is going to, I'm just going to stick a little bit of the glue on, just about halfway up the tag or halfway up the circle. And I'm going to stick that right over to this side. Make sure it doesn't cover the one below. Okay. Now the next tag, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I can pick it up. But I'm going to go to the last one here. I'm going to stick the glue halfway down. And I'm going to go right over, almost right over to that side. Okay. And then when you close them, you can see where the middle one's going to go. So it will be sort of about here, making sure it doesn't go over that edge. So let's just get this one stuck down as well. I'm sure this video is much longer than yesterday's one. I'm really sorry about that, guys. So this is the middle one. Try and straighten it up. And that's going to go there. Just going to do it by eye. and then you'll obviously find your matching one for the other side. But that's all that's needed for the moment. When I say matching, yeah, you just match it up with another half a tag for the other side, like that. Okay, so I'm going to put my teacups as my first one, because I think that's really pretty, like that. As I say, I won't do the back waterfall you once you've seen the front one. That's all you need. And I'll post some more pictures of it when it's actually finished and I've put my embellishments on it. You just line up your paper, stick it down, get your next paper, which I think is going to be this lovely large bloom here. If you're buying the kit, this is exactly what you'll get. I'm not sure yet whether I'll mark them out or cut them out. Sometimes it's easier to mark it out for you to cut. It's easier to post it that way. It's more sturdy in the post, but I'll have a look. Okay, but this is, you know, how you put the kit together. And it will be exactly like this. Including some shaped, oh, itchy nose, including some shaped tags. Now I think I will have smaller bloom to go on here. That's pretty. Pop that on there. Come on, line up nicely and don't play about, please. Not now, we've nearly got to the end. Almost, almost. For some reason this does not want to line up. There we go, that's better. So I gave up on persuasion on that one and gave it a bit of force. Right, so this is now your waterfall. All we need to do now is to cover these pieces here with these pieces that you've cut out. So I'm going to look for quite a pretty one for this. I think, in fact, I think I cut them from it, so they should match up. That's not that one. I wonder if it's that one. Goodness me. It might be this one. It looks like it because it's got all those little dotty bits on it, hasn't it? I suppose in the long run it doesn't matter. But they do actually match up, is what I'm saying. Oh, there it is. That's the dotty one. That's the one that goes there, I believe. Turn it round. I mean, you don't have to. You can put them in any order you like. It's just that I happened to have cut them in that order. Right, okay, so let's pop this down. You're just going to do exactly as we did with the other spine covers. And it's just to tidy it up and neaten it up, make it look pretty. So we're going to pop that in there, in between the two fold lines. Make sure at this point that this does not cover in any way this where this opens, because otherwise it curls the paper back, and secondly you can't open the waterfall flap properly. Right, so I'm just going to take another piece. Don't necessarily have to be all the same. this one in here. There we go. And the last one, I think I'll use a piece of this one. It's going to go here. Oops, there we go. So that tidies it all up. So you know what to do with your other waterfall. It's going to be exactly the same as this, okay? But I won't do that at the moment. Now all we need to do is to find where these go, your final spine pieces. Actually, I haven't cut, for some stupid reason, I haven't cut the two pieces that go on here, but you do have them in your measurements. I'm just looking to see what colour they are, what size they are. I believe they're the same as the, yes they are the same as your anchor page gussets. So they are 4 3/4 by 3/8 of an inch, okay? So you're going to need two to fit on here as well. So when you come to cut these, you need to cut 4 of these, one for here, one for here, one for here, and one for here, okay? Right, stick that down again, it's not sticking down. So now these pieces, I wonder if I've cut those at that size to go here. Can't believe I would. Oh, I have. Here they are. How silly of me. Right, so these are the pieces that I needed. I just thought I hadn't cut them, but I have. They're narrower than I thought they were going to be. Come apart. There we go. So basically it's just a case of sticking these down. In all of the gaps that you have. Okay, so I'm sure you get the idea there. You don't need one on here because it's only a very, very tiny spine. You're going to need one here, 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 and here. So I'll leave you to do those. Okay, I'm sure you'll be able to do those without me. And the final thing to do then in that case is our photo mats. So we have in the pack that you will get, you'll have these if you're buying the kit. If you're not, obviously you'll cut them to size. And these are all individual cutter parts as part of the actual paper, and they're so lovely. I mean, look at this one. Welcome home, come on in and close the door. It's lovely, isn't it? And the door. And this one is the frame with flowers around it. And this one is the statue, which is seen on the front cover here. It's part of that statue. And these are all the cutter parts, as I say. And this with the lanterns, and the flowers with the clock, more lanterns. So it's you know, there's some really lovely pieces here, okay? A little circle with music by the look of it, and the frame. So what we need to do with your, I'll just do one with you to show you, because it's so basic. is that you need one of your photo mats or picture mats, which is 3 7/8 by 2 7/8, which is 9.8 by 7.3, and I've rounded the corners with a corner rounder, obviously, and then you're going to get your cutter parts and you're going to cut these down to fit. So let me see if I can find one that actually does fit straight away. I think they're all a bit large on this. Let's see if this one fits. Yeah, they're all a bit large, so I need to cut all of mine down. But basically what you need to do is you will need, let's open this up, where your side pockets are, which is this one here, you'll need 2 of these to go in here, where you're going to fit the tab to the side, the tab to the long edge. So let's get that done for one of them. And it's just exactly the same principle as we've done before, in that before you stick your design paper down, we're just going to put this on the side here, turn it over, find one to match it, and do the same thing. Match it up. There we go. Make sure it is matched up properly. There we go. And then you will cover it with one of your, with the piece of your design paper that you have cut to size. Okay, so it will look like that. Well, it will look that way round. If I'm going to use the word one, go on there, and that will go in the side pockets like that. Make sure that when you do put it in, that you leave only a little bit of your tab out. This one's a little bit, I've left too much out, so I'll need to change that around a bit. But it mustn't cover this this fold here, so it must come out only about that much. Just a tiny bit, just so that you can take it. Otherwise you can't fold your pages up. Well, you can fold it, but it'll get creased. Okay, all of the others, you're going to need the tab in the centre of the top here, so that you can pull them out. So they're going to be like that. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through this last part with you, just to show you where I believe you can get your photos. Okay, so you can put a photo on the backs of all of these. So that's 3, that's 4. You can actually put photos on the front as well, but let's say that's 4. Otherwise it would be 5, 6, 7. Okay, you get a photo front and back on here, so that's 6 conservatively. Here is another photo mat, so that's 8 on there. Here you'll get one on the back, which is 9. Oh, hold on, let me just take it as one side. Okay, let's just take it as one side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Photo on here, 8. Open it up. 9. Photo on here, which will be, you can stick down, will be 10. 10. On here, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, Same waterfalls, 16, 17, 18, 19. That takes us to there. One in here, which is 20. One on here, 21. 21. Oops. 21. And then you have the fronts of all of your waterfalls if you want to, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and you can also put photos front and back here, so 28, 29, 30, well, over 30, even if you don't put photos on the front of your waterfalls, 30. And if you use tags, if we cut tags out and we use that as a decorative piece here, but leave it, I mean that's a bit big, but you leave that open all the way round, you can actually get another photo mat in behind there as well. And it has the thickness, the actual album has the thickness to take that. So there we go, and then we just tie it up and we cover it with our embellishments. So I will leave this now because you kind of get the idea, and then I'll post a very short video with it completed so you can see exactly what I did, a very short catch-up video, so you can see how I embellished it, etc. Okay, well, thank you for joining me. I hope this has been useful to you. You know, as I say, I hope you enjoy it and you like it, and once I put my tab on there, I'll be able to open the page, won't I? Yeah, I hope you enjoy our little album and that you decide to make it for yourself. Okay, I'll see you in the catch-up video, which will probably only be very short, about 10 minutes or so, soon. Take care now. Bye.